Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of the Some Kind of Mystic podcast, where we explore the profound, the practical, and everything in between on the journey of self-discovery. I'm your host, Jessie Herman, and today we're diving into an incredible world of EFT tapping with none other than Brad Yates. Brad is a pioneer in the field of emotional freedom techniques, known for his lighthearted, effective, and transformative approach to tapping. In this episode, we explore how tapping can help break through self-sabotage, move past resistance, and unlock emotional freedom. We'll also touch on Brad's fascinating journey from acting to tapping, the power of positivity, and the ripple effect of sharing your gifts with the world. And as a special treat, right in this episode, there's going to be a guided tapping session with the theme of awesomeness, so you can experience the magic of tapping for yourself right here, right now. But before we jump right in, I have some exciting events coming up that you won't want to miss. April 12th, I'm joining up with Mike Dooley in Florida for a life-changing event all about stepping into your power and embracing your highest potential. You are going to be joining us for a full day and the potential of having a meeting of the minds afterwards, and it's really going to be epic. Mike brings so much value to the world, and hopefully we'll get him eventually on the podcast as well. On April 13th and 14th, there are my special Vagrian workshops. These two are in Orlando, Florida. So if you're going to come out for Mike's workshop, do stay on for the rest of the long weekend. And you can join us for one or both of the days for deep channeled guidance, personal expansion, and transformation. And if you're feeling called to have even more expansion and a really good time, there is the possibility of adding on to that a VIP social gathering on Monday the 14th. So we'll be able to connect, integrate, and celebrate with an incredible group of like-minded souls. On May 15th to 18th, there is an amazing retreat lined up for you in Acquiterme here in Italy. So it is a chance to unplug, to enjoy yourself, to slow down, to give yourself that experience of being in a vacation mode while also having the immersive expansion that is offered by Vagrian at these retreats. We'll be going to a vineyard to have a picnic, having lots of amazing meals in gorgeous local restaurants, and so much more. You can check out all of the details of all of these events right on my website at www.jpherman.com. But for now, let's focus on this amazing and incredible conversation with the one and only Brad Yates.
Welcome, Brad, to the Some Kind of Mystic podcast. I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, Jessie. Thanks for having me on.
I've probably been following you about 7 years, 8 years now, and you're my go-to for if there's something going on that I want to clear quickly. I'll do a quick search on YouTube for your name and the issue, and something will come up. And it's just been such a blessing to have that resource and the ability to learn about tapping, because really, I think it's through your content that I first came to EFT tapping. But let's rewind a little bit and talk about what is EFT tapping? How did you come upon it? And what would you like to share about that?
Yeah. How does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living? Well, first of all, EFT, short for emotional freedom techniques, or tapping is the term that most of us use for it, because we are quite literally tapping with our fingertips, primarily on points on our face and torso. And if you are new to this, you might very well ask, why would I do such a strange looking thing? Well, there's a very good reason for it. So it's based traditionally on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along these pathways that they call meridians. And when the energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. When the energy gets blocked or stuck in some way, we don't feel so good. When we don't feel good, we don't think as clearly, and we don't make the best choices. And that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick needles in these key points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And what a psychologist named Dr. Roger Callahan discovered is that by tapping on these same points, we could clear up these emotional blockages and start to feel better and think more clearly. And Dr. Callahan called his technique thought field therapy, and would use 2 or 3 points and in different sequences, depending on what the issue was. And one of his first students was a gentleman named Gary Craig, and he had his degree in engineering from Stanford, and looking at this thought, okay, there's 8 points that we're tapping. Rather than spending a lot of time trying to figure out, okay, which point should I tap in which sequence, we just tap through all of them And he found he got the same great results. So he called this more simplified version emotional freedom technique. And it's simply a technique for allowing ourselves emotional freedom, because we so often feel like we have no choice about what we feel. X happens, I respond in this way, and I'm stuck like that until, some divine force allows me to feel over a certain amount of time. How much time? I don't know. It depends on my programming. So it's giving us that freedom to not be stuck in uncomfortable emotions, and gives it a lot more personal agency, a lot more emotional freedom.
That's amazing. I mean, I've noticed in practicing with the EFT tapping that the emotions that do come up, it's the fact that you're conscious about allowing them to come up. They feel intense, but not scary. So you can actually process through them and sit with them. Whereas maybe in other experiences, you're like, oh, I got to get away from this.
Yeah. Yeah. It gives us that a sense of safety. So the primary benefit we're finding all kinds of benefits from tapping, but the primary benefit is that it's stress relief. So it downregulates the stress response. What happens is the amygdala in our midbrain perceives threat, and we go into fight, flight, or freeze, and we start pumping hormones like cortisol through our body, and we're ready for something difficult. And so the tapping sends this calming signal to the brain to lower that. So this is why it's so beneficial in therapeutic sessions, because where we might not want to talk about something, it's like, I can't talk about that. I can't go there. I might even allow myself to think about it. But as we're tapping, it downregulates that stress response. Okay, I can look at this. I can resolve this, because what we resist persists. If we keep stuffing it, we can't address it. We can't move forward. And so the tapping gives us that freedom to be able to look at it and go in, address that, and resolve it. And then we can move forward and be happier and more successful and all those good things.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a very self-soothing technique in that you are consciously giving some love to your body in that moment, giving some attention to it and allowing it to come through. And I did read somewhere that different points are generally associated with different emotions. Maybe that's what the original sort of idea was.
Yes,
Yeah.
each of the points is on a different meridian, and the different meridians are associated with different organs in the body, and those different organs are traditionally associated with different emotions. So, right at the beginning of the eyebrows, on the bladder meridian. So that's usually associated with sadness or trauma. The side of the eye, gallbladder, associated with anger. So you may feel drawn to tap at a certain point based on the emotion, but so Gary's idea was, but if it is an anger issue, there's no harm in tapping on the sadness point. And often the emotions are so interrelated, could be even more beneficial to use all the points. It's certainly not going to hurt to tap the extra ones, and you save time by not trying to figure out, okay, which point, and I want to make sure I'm getting the right ones in the right order.
Yeah, not getting stuck up in the head again and going, let's overthink this. Let's just go ahead and do it. And that's
wait a
been my
minute, let me
experience.
overthink this.
Yeah, my experience has been, okay, figure out what, just even the theme is. And you've also have some tutorials on how to create your own sort of scripts in some ways, or at least suggestions. And if you just figure out, even if you just say the one word, like the person's name who's bothering you.
Yeah, even before that, I'll say to folks, just start tapping and don't even worry about which points are what. If you just want to tap one point, the collarbone point, kidney 27 is associated with fear. Ultimately, it's been said there's only two emotions. There's love and there's fear. Anything that doesn't feel like love, there's fear. Anger, sadness, there's some level of fear underneath that. So if you just tap a fear point, is going to be beneficial. So even if you're not sure what the word is, I don't know what's bothering me. I just know I'm not feeling awesome right now. And tapping that. You can go through all the points. You can just tap one point. Don't even worry about coming up with words. That's what I love about tapping. Well, one of the many things that I love about tapping is you don't have to figure it out. There are all kinds of ways of calming yourself down. Meditation is awesome. But in the moment of stress, unless you have been practicing meditation for decades, you're probably going to have a hard time getting into a meditative state. This doesn't take anything. It's just start moving the hand or just tap one point and you'll start to downregulate the stress. You will likely then start to come up with ideas of, oh, here's what's bothering me. And often when we're tapping, it's like peeling the layers of an onion. So I might be tapping on, I'm really angry, even though I'm angry at Bob. this anger at Bob, this anger. It's not Bob. It's Cindy in the third grade. So what Bob did yesterday reminds me of what Cindy did to me in the third grade. All this anger at Cindy, all this anger. And I can start to clear out decades of stuff that I've gone to in my body. And as Dr. Bessel-van said, the body keeps the score. So we want to take it into the body and clearing that stuff out rather than just trying to overthink it. And I'm going to think my way out of something that my body is feeling. Okay, good luck with that. Everything's connected, so it will have some effect. But to be able to take it into where we're experiencing the emotion just makes it that much quicker and that much more profound.
So I'm curious, as many people must be, back to your original question, how does a grown man make a living out of tapping? How did you come to this work? It's a little unusual. It's not yet mainstream, but you're working on that as well.
Yeah, see, I grew up knowing some app on my face on the internet, which wasn't, I'm old enough that it was long before the internet, but somehow I was actually an actor. I had studied acting. I had studied in London. I had traveled the world doing theater. And then moved to Los Angeles to become a movie star, as one does. While I was there, I met a woman, fell in love, and got married. And when our first child was on the way, I thought, I might need a backup.
Okay.
I'm not a doctor, but I played one on TV, but not enough to support a family. So I saw an ad for hypnotherapy school, and I'd always been fascinated by the power of the mind and hypnosis. And I thought, that would be a really cool site. Went through this training program, started my practice, and so I was continuing my acting career while also building the hypnotherapy practice. And a couple of years later, when our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my calling, doing personal development work, helping people fulfill goals and get out of their own way. And we moved from Los Angeles up to Northern California to be closer to our families, so kids could grow up knowing their grandparents. And through some other hypnotherapists, I heard about this energy psychology conference going on. This guy was teaching this tapping process. Okay, that sounds interesting. I know when people first see this, they think that's really odd. As an actor, one of the things I had done is I had gone to Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Clown College. So this was not the strangest thing I'd ever been asked to do.
Right, for sure.
I might have been a little more open-minded than the average Joe. And during this training, Gary gave everybody pieces of chocolate and said, okay, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much would you like that chocolate? And I was a bit of a chocoholic at the time, and I'm like 8 or 9. And we just did a few moments of tapping on this chocolate craving. And after a couple of minutes, I could not eat the chocolate. I was below 0. He said, try to take a bite. And it was disgusting. I didn't eat chocolate for 2 years after that. Now, don't anyone worry. I got better. But still, it's easy for me if I go, you know what, I'm going to take a break from sweets and I can do some tapping. And it's not willpower. It's not, I'm just not going to eat anything. It's like, I just have no interest in it.
Wow.
So at that moment, I was fortunate enough to have a pretty tangible experience. The first time I learned tapping is, okay, I just tapped for a few minutes and something very obvious just happened here. And after that conference, in my next couple of hypnotherapy sessions, I'm like, at the end, we have a few more minutes. I want to show you this thing that I've been learning. And then little by little, that became my main modality.
Wow. Okay.
I still do some hypnosis in most of my sessions, just a brief session of guided imagery. But I just really liked the fact that it was literally putting it into the client's own hands, teaching them something they could use on their own very simply. You can teach people self-hypnosis, but it can be more challenging than this, which you can start to feel the relaxation happening within moments doing it on yourself without having to come up with any clever wording or anything like that.
Wow. That's amazing.
And then YouTube came along and I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a tapping video people could start their day with? And I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And then I'm done. I have a video on YouTube. Yay. And it was like 6 months later, I thought, I should probably have a video for people to end their day. And I'll call it the evening. And then I'm done. And then I had another idea about 3 months later. and then another one. And now I have like 1,500 videos on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I love that story too, because so many of the people who listen to this show are talking about, I should really do that. I should get my work out there. I should put a video up. And I'm always like, yeah, go do it. It takes time till you build up your confidence with doing it. It takes time till the inspiration starts coming through, because the universe is communicating with who accepts the directive. If it wasn't going to be you, it might have been someone else, but you were taking these inspirations and going with it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I've often said the key to any success that I have is just that I've been willing to, when a door opens, I'm at least willing to peer in. I don't walk through every door, but it's like, I'll at least take a look, and have stumbled my way to a lot of cool things that way.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's a lot of videos. You have a lot of followers, and everyone speaks so highly of you. The Tap Daddy.
Enough people. There's always a few people. You can't make everybody happy. But yes, that is a term from my friend Gala Darling. I don't know, maybe you're.
Yes, I do know. I know of her. Yeah.
There you go. It's
so funny.
Her crowd that came up with the term Tap Daddy.
That's hilarious.
Gala would always say, think of Brad as your dad's best friend.
Okay. That's quite funny in that. Nice. So then you were doing this almost exclusively. You came to a point where you were like, okay, I'm going to do my practice and the YouTube. And so you said you still do some hypnosis, but you find more benefit with people, or at least that they have more ability to make changes, like for things such as food cravings or smoking, things that normally one would go to a hypnotherapist for. Do you find there's similar or better results with the tapping?
I often do. People respond differently to different techniques. Again, this is just much easier for folks to use. I find I can have a lot more fun doing the tapping with folks the way that I do it, whereas I definitely get to explore my creativity when I'm doing a guided imagery. So I don't call myself a channel because it's different than, say, the way you channel, but I believe all creatives are channels.
Yes, so do I.
Definitely coming through me, not by me. My job is to show up and be open to something smarter than me telling me what to say, whether it's during a tapping round or during a guided imagery. And I sit back and go, that was really cool. That was brilliant. I wish I thought of that. I just need to be willing to let it come through me. So yeah, it is a channeling process, but it's different than what's traditionally seen as channeling.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy both. But the interactivity of the tapping it works better for me. So I'll never say this is better, because there's so many different modalities. There's so many different things. To me, healing work is like music. There are different genres. There are different instruments. Some people play jazz. Some people play classical. Some play rock. Some people play guitar. Some people play the violin. So to me, EFT is like an instrument. It's a guitar. How I play it is different than someone else. I don't think Eric Clapton can say to Keith Richards, you play the guitar wrong. People will do that, but it's like, no, because some people are going to prefer Keith Richards and some people can prefer Eric Clapton, and some people prefer rock and roll and some people prefer jazz. So it's finding what works for you and just going, okay, this is what I like to listen to most. That's going to be what's most effective, whatever you find yourself being drawn to.
Yeah, sure. Because the resonance is the big part of anything being functional. So it's not going to work for you if you're sitting there going, oh, nah, I have to do my tapping. This is horrible. It's not going to really.
The tapping was the best, or one person I heard said tapping was the best, and so it has to be that. I will say, in terms of energy psychology techniques, EFT tapping has become probably the most prominent one because of the effectiveness that it has. There's a growing body of scientific research validating the effectiveness. It's very accessible. Again, you can just start tapping and you can tap one, but there's not a whole lot of, okay, I need to get myself set up. I need to come up with the right words. And that's why I started making the videos. Don't worry about the words, everybody. Just hear. You want to talk about, dealing with your anxiety? Here's a tapping video for that. You want to clear your resistance to having more money? Here's a video about that. And I'll come up with the word. And if you want to change the words during it, absolutely. You don't have to use the same words, but don't let not knowing what to say stop you from getting started.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually watching one of your videos, the Love Magnet video, which I believe is something like 10 years old or something.
Would leave.
Yesterday. Yeah. I was reading through the comments. There's like a lot of success stories. Person, oh, I've tapped on this every day for 30 days and the love of my life has come into, and it's really cool. Not just because maybe that person's had results by clearing their emotion and then changing their vibration, but also because that person, if you've done it once, if you cleared one emotion, means that you have more self-sovereignty, you have more confidence that you can get through anything that's blocking you. You can get over that trauma that you had, even as horrific as your experience might have been. There is a way to heal yourself that is really a beautiful, giving people back the power, like you said, in their own hands.
Yeah, whatever the disturbance might be in our energy system, we're clearing that out. So even if you didn't have the specific issues, so like when I'm doing a group session, if I'll be working with a particular individual on something that happened to them, they just had a big fight with a neighbor. And someone else might be, I don't have any neighbors. I live out in the country, or all of my neighbors are the most wonderful people. They can be tapping along, and it's just going to deal with whatever's in their energy system. And likewise, if I'm watching a video on the Love Magnet one, I could be tapping on whatever might be blocking me from finding someone to be involved with. But any disturbance that is likewise limiting my physical health or my financial situation, it's all in there. I'm still that stuff out and getting to a greater sense of freedom. I use Michelangelo's David as an icon and as my logo, because as Michelangelo said, the statues are already there, perfect inside the marble. And all I have to do is chip away what doesn't belong, feel the masterpiece inside. And to me, that's a perfect metaphor for what we're doing with tapping. Our healthiest, happiest, most successful self is already here underneath all the excess marble, which is all of the crappy programming we've gotten about it's not safe to have money. People will hate you. It's the root of all evil. You're not good enough. You're unworthy. You don't deserve to have nice things. People will hate you if you have nice things. So we're in this block of fear. I'm so afraid of being out there in the world and all the things that could happen if I were happy, healthy, successful. That stuff away, I can be chipping away at fears about love, but I'm also going to be clearing away what stops me from all the other good stuff. Yeah, so we do I like to say that the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we are resisting it. And some people go, that's nonsense. I'm not resisting more money. I'm not resisting being in better health. Really? So every day you're doing everything you possibly can to improve your financial situation or your physical health or whatever. You never eat unhealthy food. You never misspend. You never block yourself from having a more successful financial career. Well, no, but it's not resistance. It's not fear. It's like, and it's not I'm not making fun of anybody doing that. It's just acknowledging us as human beings. We do this. It's not that we're bad or stupid, and we're not weak or lazy. I don't believe in lazy. Lazy means that I'm not looking at why I'm resisting something.
Mm-hmm.
Laziness is just, we're just, and it's not necessarily negative. It's just in my mind, we're always running a cost benefit analysis. We're always weighing the pros and cons of any action. And if we're not taking action on something, we're resisting it because in our mind, the perceived benefit is not outweighing the perceived cost. Someone else might say, I'm lazy. Somebody who runs half marathons could look at the couch potato and say, you're just lazy. And the person who runs ultra marathons is looking at the person running half marathons and, well, you're the lazy one. So it's like, at what level? It's just that each of us decides this is worthwhile to me. And this isn't. And to a certain extent, that's fine. We don't all need to be ultra marathoners. But we don't want to kid ourselves. And if we're just couch potatoes and, and our health is not all that we want it to be, we don't want to say, yeah, it's not worth it to me. Okay, we want to look at where the resistance might be, because our natural self wants to be healthy enough to be able to do things. We don't, left to our own devices, if we had no unfortunate programming, we wouldn't choose to be in such poor health that life is we want to be able to function and do and feel comfortable in our bodies doing the things that we want to do. Actually, we don't all necessarily crave billionaire status where we have our own space program. But we want to be comfortable enough that it's like, I don't if, someone say, hey, let's go out to a movie and dinner. And we're like, I have more month at the end of the money for me, so can't do that. And being at that place where, yeah, I can afford the lifestyle that I want. And so looking at what resistance do I have, what part of me is saying, yes, even having enough money to be able to go to dinner and a movie, it kind of puts you into that greedy area. Those kind of people that have money, you don't want to be that sort of person. So unconsciously, I'm stopping myself from being that sort of person. And consciously, logically, we're thinking, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not resisting. But we are not conscious functioning. Most of our behavior, 80 to 90% of our behavior is unconscious. And that's based on all the old beliefs that we have and all the old programming, all the fights over money that we heard and all the things we heard our parents say about the next door neighbors who just bought a new car and, oh, well, look at them having a new car. And I'm thinking, okay, don't ever have enough money for a new car or mom and dad will hate me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the things that get imprinted when you're little or even, as you're going through life, even day to day. I mean, it depends also on your circle of people around you and the things that they're believing.
Yeah. We're afraid of that judgment. And so we have a comfort zone and we have an electric fence around the comfort zone. And if we start to get close to that and start to change, we hit that electric fence, which is a stress response. When we try to make a positive change in any direction, we're going to have a stress response. If only there was something we could do about stress.
Yes, absolutely.
We look where, for me, I just always assume that I have resistance to anything that I'm looking at. I'd love to, my ultimate goal is to do a presentation at the Royal Albert Hall in London. That to me would just be so cool. So I'll visualize doing that and I'll tap, okay, whatever resistance might be keeping this, I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to assume that there might be some part of me resisting that happening tomorrow. Even though it's like, well, there's no reason to expect that it could happen tomorrow. Yeah, but I'm going to just clear any resistance that might be there. There may not be any resistance. It may just be, it just isn't ready to happen yet for whatever reason. It's like, okay, but I want to clear any possibility that I'm playing a role, because this is what people don't look at is, am I possibly playing a role in this? Is there some resistance on my part? And we don't want to look at that. And so it may be us holding ourselves back. There's the philosopher Seneca said, no wind is fair enough for the sailor who doesn't know where he's going. And I say, yes, but even if he knew where he was going, it's not going to do any good until he weighs anchor. And that anchor is our resistance, that reason why we can't move forward. So I don't care if you've got the fairest winds and the best directions, you're still stuck where you are if the anchor is still there. So I want to, I'm going to weigh anchor just in case there's an anchor. There may not be, but there's no harm in me saying this. I won't be putting the resistance in. So I just want to clear any possibility that there might be that, so that anything that might be stopping me is stuff that I can't control. And I'm not going to worry about what I can't control, but I'm going to do everything I can about what is within my control.
So this has impacted you obviously on a personal level tremendously as well, because this philosophy of taking care of business basically is what you're saying must have really helped your own personal journey in terms of everything that you were wanting to achieve in your life and the things that you want to experience. So do you see a very big difference between the man that you were and the man you are today?
Well, Jesse, there even still things come up and I'll notice things like, oh, I don't do this anymore. Something that, some old unhealthy habit or something, anxious habits that I used to have. It's like, oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. But definitely, I mean, in terms of the success that I've had doing this, because I was chronically under or unemployed for a large part of my life and just avoidant to things that were outside my comfort zone. Now I'm on the internet tapping on my face and people are, happy to judge you on the internet. It's like, yeah, it's not my problem. I'm not
going to tap on the judgment, right? Like,
I'm not going to make everybody happy. In fact, I have a video on that. Not everyone's going to like me because people are so afraid of being seen. And, because people are going to judge you. It's like, hey, guess what? They're going to judge you no matter what. There are people who know about you. and people can be tapping right now on that. There are people who know of your existence. So if you stayed in your apartment and never went out and did anything, people are going to judge you for that. So, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you might as well say, okay, if people are going to judge me no matter what, what's the most awesome life I could live? And I'm going to go for it.
I come across all these fabulous people all the time. And one of the most common fears is, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to show my gift. I don't want to show what I have to offer the world because that's scary. And I have a programming to make that fear feel like safety. So the fear is keeping me safe, and therefore I'll hold on to the fear because then I'll stay safe. And it's not true. What's ended up happening is people are throwing away that most awesome life that they're giving, that they're hoping for. And that to me is the scariest possible thing. Like, to live a life that's not yours is terrifying.
And to miss out on sharing your gifts.
Yes.
That's, people are always asking me, so what do you call yourself? It's like, I don't know. One of the terms I like to say is, I'm a gift unwrapper. With that Michelangelo thing, Michelangelo was a gift unwrapper. He unwrapped the gifts that were inside the marble. For me, doing that, because we all have gifts and talents to share with the world. If you haven't noticed, the world could use your gifts and talents. Whoever you are, you have something that can make the world a better place. You have no right to be withholding.
That's right.
And not to shame anyone, because again, it's not that we're bad or stupid. It's not that we're weak or lazy. We just have programming telling us that even if I know what my gifts are, it's not safe. And so I always say that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. And we beat ourselves up. It's like, I had that job interview and I just forgot. I forget. Because some part of you said, getting that job wouldn't be safe. It was more money than you've made before. And you have all this programming about the family motto is, we're poor, but we're happy. And if I'm not poor, I won't be happy. And my parents feel betrayed. And we would consciously and logically say, that's just crazy. Yeah, but that's only 5 to 10% of your mind. The other 99.5% is play small. Don't be seen, because what will the neighbor think? How many of us have had that? What will the neighbors think? Or we, tried out for the school play and were laughed at or something. So we've gotten some kind of message about, I tried to put myself out there. I tried to be seen and I was shut down and I felt pain. Note to self, don't do that again. So here we are later and we have opportunities. I have an idea for a podcast. I want to, put myself out there. I want to share ideas with people, but remember what happened in the third grade. All right.
Right.
Don't beat yourself up over that. Be compassionate. I love and appreciate that part of me that's trying to protect me, but it's based on a misunderstanding. This misunderstanding that if I'm seen and someone judges me, that's the end of the world. It's like, no. People are going to, kick comments on YouTube saying, this doesn't work. This is stupid. This is, you're an idiot. Okay, whatever. Delete. That's, it's your journey.
You're right. It is.
I'm sorry that you're missing out, because what could happen if you allowed yourself to be open to this could be life-changing. And that's why a lot of people who ridicule tapping or channeling or anything else that could be beneficial are people who are afraid that it could work. I'm in my comfort zone and I've got this electric fence and you're telling me, come walk through the electric fence. And I'm saying, shut up, leave me alone. So, if I can ridicule it, if I can find fault with it and say that's woo-woo, that's crazy, that's stupid, then I get to stay safely in my comfort zone. Missing out on what's outside the comfort zone, but I have and I can find other people, this is stupid, right? Oh yeah, no, we're all in the comfort zone together, missing out on what's there. Not because we're bad or stupid, but because we have programming saying it's not safe, it's not okay, it's not acceptable. It's, don't look ridiculous, because even if you're at home watching a YouTube video and tapping, someone's going to know. Someone will see something silly. And, I'm judging myself because I'm looking, whatever it might be. And giving ourselves permission to move through that stress response that comes up and say, you know what, if other people are judging me, that's not my problem. What other people think of me is none of my business.
I also find that with people who leave negative comments, right, it does take some level of being impacted to then go to your keyboard warriorship, right, to leave a comment in the first place. And I like to think when that happens to me that maybe this is the first time this person's come across this thing, right? Now, maybe they don't like it the first time they come across it, but the second time they come across it, they're going to be like, wait a minute, this person's doing the same thing as that weirdo that I saw 6 months ago. And it's slightly less weird. Maybe they listen a little bit more because they're already attracted to it, or they wouldn't even be there. The universe doesn't present you with things that are not meant for you to discover. So I think we're doing a service even when they don't like it.
We're planting seeds.
Yes.
Planting seeds. I remember one years ago, law of attraction, we put things out, we attract. So I get very few negative comments these days. Even though a lot more people see my videos, I get a lot fewer comments because I'm just not putting that energy out to attract that. But I remember years ago, someone had written something negative on like 3 different videos of mine. I'm like, if you're not enjoying this, if you think this is stupid, why are you watching another video? Why? You have nothing better to do with your time. And so it's like, okay, this person is they want something, but they're resistant. I've got to keep looking and I've got to keep fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I'm going to send you positive energy. There's something inside you that's looking, that's part of you is hoping it'll work and part of you is really hoping that it won't, because then I can write it off and I can say, I did my due diligence. I tried. I watched this crazy guy tapping on his face. No one can say I'm not trying to get better, but it was too stupid or whatever. And they'll find someone else to agree with them and they'll both miss out because of that programming. But as you said, it's planting that seed. There may be a time, and I have definitely over the years gotten comments from people saying, this was the stupidest thing I ever saw when I first saw it. And now I tap every day.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it changes lives. So it's, it's like you said, it's your mission or it's what you meant to do. And it's beautiful. So the podcast is called Some Kind of Mystic. I ask all the guests, what does the word mystic mean to you?
So interesting, because I just heard a quote yesterday from John of the Cross, who's a famous mystic, transformative mystic from years ago. So I just looked at that word just yesterday. It's this, pardon the pun, but tapping into the metaphysical, that stuff beyond what our normal senses pick up. And being open to those things that are beyond what we are generally focused on in our day-to-day lives, which then gives us access to, because the universe is like, I have so much for you. And if you expand your horizons a little more, be a little more open-minded. And so we've had these mystics over the years who say that this quote from John of the Cross was, where you don't find love, put love, and then you'll find love there. It's like, whoa, that's
easy.
So we've had, over the years and all of this have that potential. And, some people are just for some reason more open to tapping into source and being able to say these things that like so out there, so brilliant. And at the same time, like, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I also think that all these modalities, whether it's hypnosis, tapping, etc., they're mystical arts as well, because they are allowing you to access those parts of you that are not based upon what you thought. It doesn't really make sense that you tap on your face and you feel better, right? Like we can't really, I know science is catching up. They've done a lot of studies, but it's still something that feels outside of the realm of the ordinary. So I think it's really beautiful.
Because it depends on where you are. So in China, where acupuncture has been practiced for thousands of years, it's like, yeah, there are points on your body that interact with your well-being. And in Western society, it's like, oh, you take a pill for that. I mean, duh, it's always a pharmaceutical. And no, and so then some people say, well, it's not right. It's not. This is how our body was designed. We're just using. It's like we lost the instruction manual and didn't know. It's like our phones that. I don't know, 90% of the things that this thing can do. So to find that there are places on my body that send a calming signal to calm down stress, and I just tap on that, and I had no idea it had that functionality. So it's discovering what we didn't know about what's possible, and then it clears the fear of discovering what else might be possible. I have mystical abilities, law of attraction. I can manifest things into my life. So I'm gonna be doing a 5-day challenge coming up in March, and the theme this time is going to be tapping into miracles. Einstein said, you can look at the world in two ways: as though nothing is a miracle, or as though everything is a miracle. But when we look at miracles, it's scary. You can say Jesus walked on water and then said, these things I do, you can do also. But most of us, if we were start walking on water and didn't sink, it would freak us out.
Sure.
So it's like that. No, I need to sink. And so we resist miracles. So it's clear that been said, the universe is not only stranger than you think, it's stranger than you can think. And when something that strange makes us fearful, it stresses us out. So tapping is a big way to calm down that stress and go, I might be open to seeing something, even though I'm walking on water, I choose to be okay with that. And admittedly, even though I know this and I have had those moments where it's just like, that's just too bizarre. It's too, this is beyond coincidence. It's too, much like this. Even if you know who Dr. Joe Vitale is, he was in the series. So we've known each other for a couple of decades, and we were having breakfast the other day. We're talking about this. It's like, we know this, and yet we don't walk around every day just going, I'm just going to manifest something.
Yeah, sure.
So we are tied into our senses and what's normal for us. And anything that's outside the normal feels threatening. And this thing is these different ways of evolving. That's another term. When I first met Jack Canfield, I said, I call myself an evolution catalyst. I'm trying to help us spark that evolution as human beings in terms of what we can do as a channel, the access that you have to this higher level of wisdom. How do we, as all of us, just be in a place where we're open to this? It's like, oh yeah. And then we can create a world that works for everybody. Because we can see, I can have a life that I love without it taken away from anybody else. And nobody else's life needs to take away from mine. There is enough where we can be happy. And if I'm trying to have more take from somebody else, that's not coming from a happy, healthy place.
That's right.
How do I get to a place where I feel awesome?
I'd love for you to guide us through a tapping, keeping in mind that some of the people enjoying this are going to be audio only. Is that possible? Can we do
Absolutely.
that? Okay. So I'd leave it to you to choose the theme or to, based upon what we've been talking about, whether it's miracles, resistance, pulling up that anchor, whatever feels good.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Often when I start tapping, I have no idea. When I shoot YouTube videos, sometimes I just have one word. It's like, I thought, I should do a video about angst. Okay. Even though I feel angst, and then I have no idea because it's channeling.
Sure. Yeah.
So we'll find out together what it's going to be. For anyone who is not familiar with EFT already, all we're going to be doing is taking the fingertips of your index and middle finger, and we'll start on the side of your opposite hand. So right between your pinky and your wrist, right on that edge of your hand, you'll start tapping there during the opening part, where I'll be stating whatever the issue is, and then we'll move on to these different points. So the first point we'll tap is the beginning of your eyebrow. So just on either side of the top of your nose, the beginning of your eyebrow, and you'll gently tap. And generally we tap these points between 5 and 10 times. Sometimes it'll be longer depending on the phrase. You don't have to keep counts. That's just a basic idea. So I'll be saying different phrases, and then you'll repeat back the phrase while tapping on that point. Then from the eyebrow, we'll follow the eyebrow out to the side of your eye. So right there at the corner of your eye socket, and you'll gently tap there. Then right under the middle of your eye, just below the middle of your eye, just at the top of your cheek. Next point is just below your nose, just above your upper lip. The next point is below your lower lip, at the top of your chin. The next point is where your collarbone points, just right in the center there. So right at the bottom of your throat, there's a little U shape where the collarbones come together. So you can make a fist and tap where the collarbones just about meet. Next point is about 4 inches below your armpit. It's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys listening can figure out what that is. Tap there. And then the final point we'll tap is the top of your head. So with all of your fingertips, just tap it around the crown of your head. So as we go through this, during the first round through, so with basic EFT, you would decide what's bothering you. Like, I'm really stressed out. So you'd say, even though I feel this stress, I choose to love and accept myself. And then at each of the points, we'd say, this stress, this stress. If it's, I'm really angry at Bob because Bob was a jerk yesterday, even though I'm angry at Bob. And then I'll use the point, this anger at Bob, this anger at Bob. That's the basic version. You don't even have to say anything while you're tapping. The tapping is going to be calming stress, even if you're typing silently. But that's the basic version is we repeat the same phrase each time. We're going to have a little more fun with it right here. And I'm going to, improvise, see what comes through. So for the first time through, I will mention each of the points that we're tapping on. And then after we get to the top of the head, we'll go back to the eyebrow point. And then just for the flow, I'm not going to say the points. By that point, you'll already be familiar with it. If you forget a point, don't worry about it. It's not dependent upon you tapping the same points that I'm tapping. So if after I stop saying the names of the points and you're not watching this on video, if you just stop on one point and tap the rest of the series on one point, fine. So what I'd like you to do is close your eyes, take a deep breath in and hold it, and let it go. Just following your breath through your body, just breathing comfortably, allow yourself to be present. Follow your breath through your body and just notice how you're feeling right now. And let's do this. Let's say we have a scale of 0 to 10. In this case, it's a positive scale. So 10 is awesome. I am living life large. I'm in the best life. 0, not so much. So just notice where you might be at the moment and do not judge yourself harshly if the number is lower than you'd like it to be. If it's like a 2, it's like, okay, just like with your GPS, knowing where you're at is how you get to where you want to go. So don't judge. You just allow yourself to get curious and think about what would it take to get to a 10? What actions could you take? Maybe even this week, and notice where there might be resistance. Notice what part of you might say, yeah, I can't do that. It's not possible, whatever it might be. Again, with a little judgment as possible. And maybe even, so notice what you feel physically, notice what you feel emotionally, notice any thoughts, beliefs, or memories that might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't feel awesome, as to why your life couldn't or shouldn't be awesome, as to why you couldn't or shouldn't take the actions that you know could move you in the right direction. Allow yourself to be aware of what's going on in there. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, and just for the fun of it, we're going to start with a positive phrase. So generally, as I said, we'll tap, even though I feel this stress or even though I feel this fear. But we're going to do it with a choice. So again, just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say, starting with the side of the hand. Choose to feel awesome.
Choose to feel awesome.
And I choose to love and accept myself.
And I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to feel awesome.
I choose to feel awesome.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
And I choose to love and honor myself.
Choose to feel awesome.
I choose to feel awesome.
Choose to have awesome health.
I choose to have awesome health.
I choose to have an awesome financial situation.
I choose to have an awesome financial situation.
I choose to have awesome relationships.
I choose to have awesome relationships.
And I choose to clear anything that might get in the way.
And I choose to clear anything that might get in the way.
I choose to feel awesome.
I choose to feel awesome.
And I choose to deeply and completely.
And I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe everybody else.
And maybe everybody else.
Because how awesome would that be?
Because how awesome would that be?
Okay, so now we'll go to the eyebrow point. I choose to feel awesome.
I choose to feel awesome.
Side of the eye. I choose to feel awesome.
I choose to feel awesome.
Under the eye. And I choose to clear any resistance to that.
And I choose to clear any resistance to that.
Under the nose. Clearing any resistance to feeling awesome.
Clearing any resistance to feeling awesome.
Under the mouth. And part of me might say. Collarbone. I'm not resisting feeling awesome.
I'm not resisting feeling awesome.
Under the arm. Why would I resist that?
Why would I resist that?
Top of the head. And that is the $1 million question.
And that is the $1 million question.
Now we'll go back through all the points to start at the eyebrow. Why would I resist feeling awesome?
Why would I resist feeling awesome?
My conscious mind says I wouldn't resist that.
Says I wouldn't resist that.
But I choose to be open to the possibility.
But I choose to be open to the possibility
That some of the things limiting my awesome feeling are actually within my control.
Are actually within my control.
Could be doing things differently.
I could be doing things differently.
I could be thinking different thoughts.
I could be thinking different thoughts.
That would lead to a more awesome feeling.
That would lead to a more awesome feeling.
So I must be resisting some awesomeness.
So I must be resisting some awesomeness.
Not because I am bad or stupid.
Not because I'm bad or stupid.
Not because I am weak or lazy.
Not because I'm weak or lazy.
But because I have some old program.
But because I have some old programming.
About why I couldn't or shouldn't feel more awesome.
About why I couldn't or shouldn't feel more awesome.
Maybe part of me says,
have
you read the news recently?
Have you read the news recently?
Can you possibly feel awesome at a time like this?
How can you possibly feel awesome at a time like this?
But feeling miserable isn't making anything better. And everything is energy.
And everything is energy.
And we are all connected.
And we are all connected.
And the more I allow myself to feel awesome, raises the level of awesomeness on this planet. Which actually makes a positive difference. So I could say to myself, if I'm not happy with what's happening, if things are not looking awesome, I should feel more awesome. To try to fix things. So I'm clearing all these reasons. Why I couldn't or shouldn't feel awesome. Because when I resist feeling awesome, it's hard to get up and do anything. So I'm not sharing my gifts and talents. I'm not making the positive difference that I could make. And I'd rather change that. I choose to be open to miracles. And I'm open to the possibility. That the miracles that happen for this world might come through me. I might be the miracle this world needs. And I'm clearing any resistance that stops me from being who I can be. To make the world a better place. I'd rather feel awesome. As Dr. King said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. So I choose to be the light. I choose to be that awesome. I choose to feel that awesome. Because then I can spread that to others. And then they'll be more awesome. It's a total win-win situation. So I'm allowing myself to feel more awesome. In body, mind, and spirit. And take a deep breath. Close your eyes, go inside. Notice on a scale of 0 to awesome, 0 to 10, and just hopefully that number has come up. And when we're tapping, it's often like peeling the layers of the onion, and we get more awareness. So we might be tapping along and go, oh, this is what stops me. And can I change my mind about that? Oh, maybe I could. Here's why it might be beneficial. And so maybe during that tapping around, you may have become aware of something, and you could do some more tapping on that. go to YouTube. There's chances are that I might have a YouTube video on that exact subject.
Yeah, you probably do.
Process that stuff. I mean, you feel more and more awesome, and you feeling more awesome raises the level of awesomeness on the planet. And the people are doing non-awesome things start to pick up and they go, I think I'll knock off that non-awesome thing I'm doing.
That's right. Yeah. And it's contagious. Awesomeness is contagious.
It is. It is. So thank you. And so thank you to everyone who just agreed to tap along with us, because you have just raised the level of awesomeness. You have increased the light on this planet just now.
Everyone who watches it forevermore, and anyone who watches any of your videos forevermore, it's an ongoing cycle of awesomeness that can keep coming. And you're like me. I know that the reasons why you are sharing your gifts is because you want to be in that beautiful world that you can see. If we all came into our own gifts, it's for very selfish reasons that we're in service to others, because I want to be in that awesome world.
It is so funny because people often write on YouTube, it's like, you are so selfless. It's like, I mean, it's not purely selfish. I'm not sitting here going, I don't give a crap about other people. I just like but I live in this world.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is my neighborhood. If it's clean, that I benefit from that. So it's certainly not altogether altruistic.
Exactly.
But I do want for others what I have. I'm loving my life so much. I benefited so much from, 20 plus years of clearing away what doesn't belong, chipping away at the marble to see what's possible. It's like, I want everyone to feel this way, and I couldn't go out and be hurtful to people. I can't go onto the internet and tell people what an idiot they are. It's like, why would I do that? I years ago, I had a Facebook group, I think, called Too Happy to Hate. And I want everyone else to feel this good. So when people are out there writing these really awful things, like, I want you to feel this good so that you are like, why on earth would I want to, go crap on somebody?
For sure. Yeah.
Why would I want to take this? Why would I want to hurt anybody? So that's where we get to it. So it's not a matter of, I have a video on political correctness. And I said, in an ideal world, we wouldn't have political correctness. And it's not for the reason that some people say, because it feels like I should be able to say whatever I want. It's like, no, political correctness is these rules about not saying offensive things. You shouldn't say these things. To me, the ideal world is, I don't need political correctness, because why on earth would I say something offensive?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Why would you go out of your way to hurt someone?
I don't need a rule to stop me because it's like, it's like, why, and if I inadvertently say something and someone says that's offensive, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. That wasn't, it's not that I don't care. It's like, I didn't know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then you learn. Exactly. Absolutely.
Now, ideally, also, we clear the need to be offended by it. It's like,
right. Yeah.
So, because if we say everyone should be, I'm offended by certain terms and I need to be offended, it's like, well, okay, then my well-being is dependent upon 8 billion other people agreeing to these rules.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be stuck in, I want to be, that person is a jerk saying that kind of thing. Oh, well, I still choose to feel awesome. And I, absolutely have a right to say, that's not a cool term. Please don't say that. But even though you said it, I'm not going to give you the power to make me feel bad.
For sure. Yeah. It's the difference between putting on some shoes or trying to pave the entire planet. There might be rocks you don't want to step on, put on some shoes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I may still want everything to be smooth grass that's comfortable under my toes, but until that time, I'm going to take care of my own well-being.
Absolutely.
It's not a matter of giving in and going, oh, well, I'm tapping so that so tapping isn't about becoming complacent and going, well, there's things I don't like about the world, but I just tap away. Okay, it's okay now that people are doing this, and people are breaking laws or being violent or polluting the water or whatever. Oh well, even though people are polluting the water, I'm okay. It's like no. This is not about being complacent and saying let's let harm continue. But most of the time when we get upset, we just sit at home and we're just upset about it. We don't actually do anything about it.
That's right. Yeah. It gives you back your power to make choices.
Yeah. And so you can go out and it's like, oh, now I feel awesome. What can I do? I can go out and do this. And even if I can't do something about a particular situation, I can go and clean up my side of the street and I can make the world a better place. By doing that, I might create an opening for someone else who has more agency in terms of this other thing.
Yes, for sure.
So it raises the level, do whatever good you can do. And it's like the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. But it doesn't end there. I can't change it, so grant me the serenity to just do nothing. No, it doesn't stop there. Then give me the courage, and I always had, and whatever else it might take.
Yeah, sure.
Change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I can't change everything. That may be for someone else to do, but I'm going to let me make peace with that so that I'm not, if there's something I can do over here, if I can make a YouTube video that's going to help somebody who's in a dark place, I may not be able to change what's happening in Ukraine right now. So rather than sitting here going, I'm so upset about Ukraine right now, I'm going to go over and great, I'm going to go do this. And that person that I might help get through their dark place might be, you know what, there's something I could do in the Ukraine right now. And, this chain reaction. So it's giving ourselves the freedom to, because when we get stuck in these dark places, we then don't feel the freedom to make the difference where we can make the difference. So it's like, go and do the good that you can do. And so and I would say tap on a daily basis because it's energy hygiene. You don't wait to brush your teeth until somebody's holding their nose around you and go, brush my teeth in 3 days,
Yeah.
Do it before you're aware of it. Because by the time you're aware that you have stress, your prefrontal cortex and your decision-making is already compromised. So get as clear as possible. I tap first thing in the morning. It's not because I wake up in a bad mood. It's not, even though I woke up on the wrong side of the bed again. It's like, I'm going to assume there might be some resistance. There's no harm in tapping. And I'll say prayers, I'll say affirmations, or I'll just tap silently. It's like, I just want to clear away anything that might not belong, that might be there, so that I improve my chances of having a great day.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. And I know for a fact, it's very unlikely I would have ever come into sharing my gifts had I not had access to your videos, because I can remember times when maybe that first nasty comment did come up and you go, oh, quickly, what do I do? Or, some things in terms of setting up a business. There's a lot of fear around allowing yourself to receive money or allowing yourself to make those administrative things that you've never dealt with, having courage to do certain things. So I definitely know the benefit of that cascading effect on. And then anybody who likes my work, again, that cascades back to me, then you, then whoever has helped you, etc. So it's a beautiful chain of connections. How can people find you? What do you have going on coming up?
Yes, easiest is at my website, tapwithbrad.com. And I'm on a lot of the social media things as Tap with Brad. Go to my website. There's a free 5-day program called Success Beyond Belief. So that name is like, oh, the success beyond belief. It's so much success, but it's also literally, it's the success that's beyond your current beliefs about what you can have. So it's a 5-day program of tapping through those beliefs about why you couldn't or shouldn't have more success, whatever that means. So it's not, certainly here in the West, success. So it's all about having your own private jet or whatever. It's like, no. It's whatever it might be in terms of success. To me is a life well lived, loving your life, being happy. It includes enough money to pay for things. You're not in financial insecurity, but it's not just about that. So it's clearing those reasons why you couldn't or shouldn't. So if you go to tapwithbrad.com, you can get that free 5-day program. You can find out about live events that I'm doing. I have events coming up in Europe, Phoenix and New York. So you can find out about the various resources that I have. And then, of course, links to YouTube. And, with 1,500 videos that, if there's something bothering you, I've probably made a video that's at least along the lines of that, if not exactly that.
That's right. I have the testament to that fact. You can pretty much search any topic and your name and something will come up that's appropriate, at least for the immediate.
There's a tap for that.
There's a tap for that. That's right. Where in Europe? I'm curious. I'm in Italy.
Are you? I am doing my first workshop in Italy
Where?
next month in Florence.
I'm in Milan. I wonder if I can coincide my dates. We'll see.
Di Milano.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, no, I've been to Beautiful Milan, but someone asked me to come there, so I'll be in Rome
Great.
first, but then Florence. That's where the David is.
Yes. No, you gotta go. You gotta go. It's beautiful there.
The perfect place to. I've been fortunate enough just to be there to see the David a few times, but to do my first Italian workshop there is just seemed perfect.
I'll send everyone down from here to go and see you in Florence.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It has been such an honor meeting one of the people that has really shaped my life. So I'm so blessed to have had this time with you. And so excited for the listeners who haven't met you yet to discover your work. And I will put those links in the show notes so people can click right through. And just thanks so much for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I greatly appreciate what you're up to and providing this platform for people to learn about this work.
What a powerful and amazing conversation that was. Brad's insights into EFT tapping, overcoming resistance, and stepping into a more joyful, expansive version of yourself are truly inspiring. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to check out Brad's work. You can find him online and dive deeper into his tapping techniques, and there are the details in the show notes as well. It really helps this podcast out if you would follow it, become a subscriber, like the YouTube video, hit the bell icon for when new podcasts are coming out. Any way that you can help support this podcast is deeply appreciated, and you become, immediately upon doing so, my favorite person in the whole world. As I mentioned earlier, there are some incredible opportunities come up to catch up with me in person. There's the April 12th event with Mike Dooley, the April 13th and 14th Vagrian workshops, and those, by the way, are going to be live streamed as well, so check out those tickets at www.jpherman.com/events. And the Acquiterme retreat here in Italy from May 15th to 18th. All the details for all of this and the signups are linked in the show notes, so be sure to check them out before it's too late. And if this conversation resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So connect with me on social media or leave a review. And of course, share this episode with someone who could use a little tapping magic in their life to tap into their masterpiece as well. Until next time, stay open, stay aligned, and keep embracing your own unique journey. I'm sending my heart to all of you, and see you or hear you again soon.
Oh, my first workshop, did I talk about the chocolate? So when I was doing that first workshop where Gary brought out all the chocolate, when I tap on chocolate, there was someone else there who said, no, you ruined French fries for me. Please do not ruin chocolate for me. Just to play that idea. There are some vices that I want to be able to hang on to. And I'm afraid of tapping, and that could be a resistance that a lot of people have. There are some things that I don't want to let go of, and ultimately, that is it. There are parts of us that don't want. I don't want my life to be perfect. I'm afraid it'll be boring. It is not. I think she didn't. She didn't do the tablet. I was like, no, I'm perfectly happy eating chocolate, and I don't want to, because she knew what was coming. I had no idea. This is my first time ever learning about tapping. I didn't know that I was going to miss out on chocolate for 2 years.
Well, it's understandable if she also had to give up French fries. I mean, come on.
I have not tapped on French fries because I'm not willing to.